said before is we're going to go into the silence and then we stop for about 4 minutes. And then I'll say at the end as we come out of our meditative state. Okay. Get up and mess up, I promise. So, good morning to everyone in person and online. My name is Grace McManus, and I am one of the practitioners at the Center for Spiritual Living right here in Prescott, Arizona. So, it's really great to be back in person right now in the sanctuary. And I'm going to begin the meditation today by reading a short passage for you to contemplate before we go into the silence. So I'm asking you right now to just sit back in your chairs, relax, and listen to the message and try to contemplate what that means to you. So the man whispered, "God, speak to me." And a meadowlark sang. But the man did not listen. So he yelled, "God, speak to me." And a symphony played, but the man did not listen. The man looked around and said, "God, let me see you." And a star shone brightly, but the man did not notice. And the man shouted, "God, show me a miracle." And a life was born, but the man did not know. So the man cried out in despair, "Touch me, God, and let me know you are here." Whereupon God reached down and touched the man, but the man brushed the butterfly away and walked off unknowingly. So take a few minutes to recognize that this short contemplative passage, that God is literally in everything, everyone, and everywhere. So open up your hearts, your minds, and all your senses to recognize this one divine presence. This presence permeates and radiates throughout the entire universe. Whenever you feel alone, recognize that we're always one with God. God is like an action verb, always moving and flowing. It is a steady dynamic of the life essence. Remember this thought. God is a circle whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. God is a circle whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. Now let us now go into the silence as we meditate on these ideas. So as we come out of our meditative state, let us carry this message with us today, that whatever you think about, remember the God essence is right there, right where you are, and never has left. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.
How about now? There we go. I'm back. Good morning. My name is Kira Molitor, and I'm part of the leadership here at the Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you all for being here, present in the sanctuary and online. I have some announcements. Jackson has asked me to tell you that there will be no Monday meditation tomorrow. The board meeting is next week. It will be here in the sanctuary. All members are welcome. We will be discussing masks, among other things. Flowers are back. There is the opportunity to be part of that. You can sign up online or call the office and pay online. Hazel's metaphorical Bible class starts this week. There is still time to join. That will be on Zoom, and it should be very dynamic. Other classes are coming up. They will be announced. Keep your eye on them. Please enjoy the service.
Everybody ready to sing a little bit? Get this off to a nice start. We're going to do a little bit of This Little Light, a little bit of a Carter Family vibe to it. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, oh Lord, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, oh Lord, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine, oh, hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, I'm gonna let it shine, oh Lord, let it shine. Now we got the light of love, we're gonna let it shine, oh, we got the light of love, we're gonna let it shine. We got the light of love. We're gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Now, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Much. So good morning, everyone. All right, so that whole hide it under a bushel no sounded a little bit anemic. So let's try that again. Hide it under a bushel. No. Thank you. I know we've all got, go ahead and sit down. I know that we have all gotten used to keeping our voices down and not shouting through our masks. For one more week, we are asking people to keep their mask on. If you are not comfortable in your mask, if you're one of those people who should not be wearing a mask, we can open up they're not drapes or curtains. What are those called? Blinds. Could we open up the blinds so that people who want to not have a mask on and sit outside are still part of our group? If you are watching online, you're allowed to not wear a mask at all. As a matter of fact, you could still be in your jammies and we won't even have any kind of problem with it. My name is Reverend Kathleen Sibley. It is my joy to minister to you today. Please know that whoever you are, wherever you are entirely welcome here this morning, just as you are, and just as you are not. Because we know that we're all here by divine appointment, and it's so good to see so many faces back. You should know that at that board meeting next week, we are going to be talking about what does reopening look like. We've got kind of a soft reopening going on right now. For those of you who are online, this won't make much of a difference to you, but we need to know how comfortable do people feel moving more chairs back into the room, taking off our masks. Yes, you still must wear clothing. We're not going to take off anything but the masks, and you must probably show up just as you are and just as you are not. I think those are probably our thou shalt nots. That's about it. That's all we got. So in this moment, what I want you to know is that we have a circle of licensed professional practitioners who are here to help you learn those spiritual tools that we offer that improve our personal lives and make the world a better place. So those licensed professional practitioners are the people who run our ministry of prayer. And what that means is whether you do it here by putting an actual piece of paper into an actual wooden box as you leave, or you go online and put in something either directly to one of our practitioners or to the general office box. If there is something going on in your life that is making you less than happy, less than peaceful or joy-filled, we ask that you let us pray about it. And as a matter of fact, we get together on Zoom every Monday, and if you will tune in 10 o'clock Arizona time, which right now is Pacific time, and say yes to answered prayer, then there is more than enough yes in us to be in agreement with you, and we can make just about anything happen. I'm sorry, I left my junk down there, just so, if you want to just hand it to me. Thank you. See now, these are what I leave everywhere. I'm seeding the entire world with my glasses. My apologies. What was I talking about? Prayer. Prayer is good. Classes are better. Prayer will work on you so long as you allow it. Classes take it deeper. And in the next couple months, we will have a class that has actually been very popular and is now available to people all over the world, is Hazel Bowman's Bible class. This is not the Bible that you might have been raised with. Ain't nobody thumping this one. This is the Bible as you have never read it. I'm going to be teaching a visioning class. We'll have meditation is more than you think. And one of our prac students who just finished her training and is now awaiting licensure created a class as her final project that is all about living in joy. Who here does not like joy? I like Joy. She's a very nice person. It's an awesome class to the point where I'm going to take it with her. It's just a 4-week, let's have some fun. and actually do some spiritual work that doesn't feel onerous. So those are our licensed professional practitioners. There are lots of right ways to learn how to be spiritual. There are lots of great ways available to all of us that help us be in touch with the divine being that maybe we were raised with, maybe is somebody we have not yet met. But as our 12-steppers would say, we need a God we can do business with. And so that's what we work on. And so we have a tradition in this center of honoring and the Center for Spiritual Living honors all faith traditions. It's really challenging to get lit appropriately in church. Yeah, that joke has been told about 1,000 times from here now. So the Center for Spiritual Living honors all faith traditions. As we light a candle for the world's religions, it is to acknowledge both our multiplicity and our unity. It's all right. Jesus had trouble being heard, too.
Can you hear me now?
Nope. There you go.
Thank you. We light a candle for Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus the Christ, who taught the path of love, forgiveness, and healing by the presence within.
For Islam, the practice of submitting to the will of God is revealed to his prophets, peace be upon them, who taught that there is one God, creator of the heavens and the earth.
For Judaism, a community of shared laws, traditions, and family ties, which began with the covenant between Abraham and God. For the Baha'i, the path of unity and peace.
For all of the goddess traditions, embracing the divine feminine as maiden, mother, crone, and or wisdom keeper.
And for the science of mind, which is the philosophy of life that teaches us there is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it.
Beautiful. Thank you, ladies. You can't really blow this one. And we have our own litany of truth that we share in order to remember who we are. So I'll ask you to say it with me now if you're on camera, if you're online right now. Go ahead and say it out loud. We won't be able to laugh at you if you mess up the words. We are here for God. Our purpose is to express the nature of God as love, abundance, and joy in everything we do. The good we seek for ourselves is what we desire for all people everywhere. And so it is.
This is such an incredibly beautiful song. I can't tell you how much this song means to me. I just love the song. And when I sing it, when I hear it, it's a love song. It's a love song to my beloved. And when I sing it, that's how I'm singing. I'm singing a love song to my beloved. So I hope you will feel it with me here as we sing God Is, I Am. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. Oh, God is, I am. Oh, right here, right now. Oh, again with me. Oh, God is I am. Oh, right here, right now. Oh, right here, right now. God is I am. God is I am. Right here, right now. Right here, right now. God is I am.
Remember that thought, that wherever we are, there is God. The prayer of protection. The light of God is in me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. Let us take a moment to go into a brief meditation. So let us know that wherever we are, God is here right now, never has left, and so it is.
So I wrote a brand new song for today to sing for you all. I mean, it's so new that I have to cheat and look at lyrics because I literally just wrote it and finished the last verses last night. And it has a part for you to sing. And it's such an easy part. You'll pick it up right away. I won't even have to teach it to you because you will pick it up as soon as you hear it. And when you sing, when you hear it and you start singing it, think of the eagles in your head in terms of your harmony. I want to hear an eagle-esque harmony from the audience. Whoop. The song is called From Deep Inside of Me. I feel the beat moving so sweet. Deep inside of me is moving up strong, becoming this song. Deep inside of me, now your part. Ooh, deep inside of me. Ooh, deep inside. Look for a star. I open my heart. Deep inside of me, so much to do. This dream's coming true. Deep inside of me. Ooh, deep inside of me. Ooh. Now there's a reason why the earth keeps turning. Seasons changing, lessons for the learning. There ain't no reason why we can't fly again. There's so large a load, I offer it hope. Deep inside of me, drawing it near, nothing to fear. Deep inside of me. Ooh, yeah. Deep inside of me. Ooh. inside. There is mercy in just forgiving and embracing the joy of living. Ain't no reason why we can't fly again from deep inside of me. Ooh, feeling the spirit deep inside of me. Ooh, I'm making my own deep inside of me. Ooh, taking me home deep inside of me. Thank you.
So, what is deep inside of us? Most of us have been taught that what is deep inside of us is not acceptable. Most of us have been taught that we are sinners, that we are broken, that we are somehow separate from God. It is one of the teachings that is part of every religion I have ever studied. And believe me, guys, I have done some church hopping. The idea that we're somehow separate from nirvana. To this version of the story, the serpent, which has long been a symbol of wisdom, is the divine feminine wisdom. So Sophia, who is wisdom, is the snake in the garden whose kid, Yahweh, has his little pets in there. Those little humans. They're really cute. They're kind of like gerbils. But they're living in a perfect world, in a static world, a world in which they can never grow. They cannot explore. They cannot do anything different. And so, Sophia, wisdom, has us experience separation so that we can realize that it's not real. Allows us to weigh good and evil. You remember the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? Not actual good and evil, but just the knowledge about good and evil. So that we may come to a place within ourselves where we realize that we are inherently divine, inherently good, inherently wise. How many things have you had knowledge of that simply are not so? I mean, anytime you hop on the internet at this point. There's a lovely quotation that's floating around right now that says things, something to the effect of, not everything you read on the internet is true, and it's attributed to Abraham Lincoln. So not everything you read in sacred scripture should be read as if it was other than a teaching story. In the Judeo-Christian tradition, parables are used a lot. Teaching stories are used a lot. Why would their sacred book be any different? And so I ask you, whether you believe in the history part or not, does not matter to me. Whether you take it in and take it deeper, and probably take that class with Hazel, that matters. Because that means you're taking these wisdom stories and applying them to your life to see where they might be of use to you. So this month, our theme is Holy, Holy Uprising. And by holy, holy, I mean completely sacred. Holy, W-H-O-L-L-Y, holy, H-O-L-Y. A completely sacred uprising requires us to trust that voice that is deep within to know what we're doing and where we're going. Because have you ever disagreed strongly with a group of people that you love and admire and had that voice in the back of your head going, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I don't know if by rebelling against XYZ, I might be making things worse. I might be making a horrible, soon-to-be very embarrassing mistake. When we are having a holy, holy uprising, we might well be rebelling against the God we were raised with. How's that for scary? When you get sent to your room by God, it's not like you'll be let out eventually, or this is your room in which all of your books and the bed you wanted to take a nap in and your Nintendo are already in. That's the room we wanted to be sent to in the first place, right? So when we have a holy uprising, we have to trust. I know this is the tough one for most of us. We have to trust that being that lives in our skin, that some people call the divine self, to know what he, she, it, they, us are doing. And we have to do it while in our human self, we may not know what exactly we're doing. One of the things that I remember having a conversation about in my early days in ministerial school, as a matter of fact, I had a conversation with my minister. And we were talking about the phrase, everyone is welcome here. Can we agree with the idea that everyone is welcome here? Yes, no, maybe? Okay, yes. If you're online, I didn't hear you, but you can type it into the chat. What if, and this is how far we took it, somebody in full clan regalia walked in? And by clan, I don't mean they're wearing tartan kilts. I mean bed sheets with the pointy hat, yes. What if they walked in? Would they be welcome here? Actually, at the time, we talked about Nazis. If somebody came in a full Nazi uniform, and they weren't kidding, it wasn't a Halloween costume, I just felt the energy. I don't know about you guys online, but the energy in here just went, she's doing it again. She's doing that thing where she just begs the question and takes it to an extreme that's redonkulous. Okay, deep breath. Everybody breathe, and now you're allowed to breathe out again too. You see, in this teaching, we get real. In this teaching, we tell the truth. I'm reading a biography about Anna Holmes called The Mother of a Mystic. She was actually the mother of 10 of them. She ended up with a couple ministers and a couple of business people, but she had all sons. And Ernest Holmes was the youngest. Ernest Holmes literally wrote the book on science of mind. He wrote several books, and he founded this philosophy. As I'm reading it, I notice that they lose the farm that's been in her family for generations. And it just states that as a fact, that it doesn't talk about how she felt about it. As I'm reading it, it kind of hints that Mother Holmes wasn't crazy about the cousins that let Ernest Holmes read that guy Emerson, who was a rabble-rouser, who had been thrown out of Harvard. Yes, he was. As a matter of fact, if you read Emerson's address to the divinity students at Harvard, that's the talk that got him banned for 20 years. He was a rabble-rouser. He was not well-behaved. He would fit in here really well. And not just because we quote him so much. Mother Holmes was not excited to hear all of this science of mind stuff until Holmes was reading Emerson and reading Mary Baker Eddy's work, which was one of the few things published at the time, and he healed her heart condition. She had been having heart pains, chest pains. Her life was actually in danger. And he ran the experiment and healed her. But we don't hear how many of her sons fought in World War I or World War II. We don't hear how they felt about, she was actually born while slavery was still legal in this country. She was around for the Great Depression. We don't hear them talk about that stuff. There's a lot of stuff they didn't talk about back then, and it certainly doesn't make it into our books. And so one of my challenges is that as a minister, I compare my insides to Ernest Holmes' outsides. Once his books have been edited, once it's all been cleaned up, and you don't hear about You know, the time he couldn't get the lid off the jar of pickles. And so he dropped it and it broke and everything. I'm just making this up right now, by the way. We don't know what it looked like when he lost his temper. At some point in his life, he must have lost his temper, right? At some point in his life, he must have been awkward. At some point in his life, he must have ticked some people off. As a matter of fact, if you read the biography he had his brother write, and he trusted his brother to tell the truth, he used to tick off his congregation all the time. How? By going outside of their church or outside of the theater where he was speaking and bringing in people who were still drunk from the night before and smelled like it. I seem to remember that he would bring in prostitutes. And oh, didn't that cause talk? There was a rumor that his wife Hazel wrote his talks for him, which is funny because nobody wrote his talks for him. He would stand up and just start talking. These are the things we don't talk about. But I tell you, these are the things that most people deal with on a daily basis, and most people need to talk about. In this date and age, right here, right now, we talk about these things. We have a huge conversation going on in our movement around diversity, which means that I make some people uncomfortable by talking about race issues, by talking about the homeless, by talking, people experiencing homelessness. Let's not label them as if that was the only thing that was important. I talk about things like money and religion. And oh my God, once we were told we had to talk about sex. Guys, when I took sex ed, it was with Sister Veronica, the principal of my school. There were no questions asked during that class. And I grew up thinking guys got periods too. There are some questions that should be asked. There are some subjects that, while uncomfortable, must be opened up. There's a lot of different opinions about whether we wear masks, whether we open the center completely, whether it's safe to get the shot. I got it. I'm still up here, and I'm as sane and normal as I was before I got the shot, which some people would say doesn't say much, but that's okay. So how do we know when we have this holy, holy uprising, how do we know we're going down the right path? Ernest Holmes was very clear. When he was asked how we would know what it was okay to pray for, he would say, you won't know. You already do know. This is not a future tense knowing. If you listen within your own heart and mind, you will hear your truth. For some of us, it's deep inside. It's that still small voice. Other people have figured out that they need to sit their butts in their prayer chairs and turn up the volume on that. I know I'm in trouble when I look at my prayer chair and would rather do dishes or clean the bathroom. The bathroom is actually worse than the dishes. Dishes means I got to eat something first, right? So you won't know, you do know. How do we work with that? We trust the principles, we know our values, and then we trust the process. Principles, spiritual principles, are things like God is all there is. Or as Sue Scherer, one of our practitioners, would say, only good can come of this. Now, there are people who would say that's kind of shaming or whatever. You can't say only good can come of this, or there's a reason for this. Everything happens for a reason. When I say only good can come of this, that is a demand. I am making my demand upon the universe that not only will something good come of this, but when it's all said and done, the amount of benefit to whatever pain in the hiney thing I'm going through right now, only good will come of this. By the time it's over, I'm going to be so happy it happened. Maybe not right now. I've had a lot of experience these past couple weeks with, oh, no, I don't know the password to that incredibly important program. No, I don't actually know the last 4 digits of every single checking account that we have. No, I don't know what the secret question answer is so that we can get into payroll. Thank God for Nina, who at least will laugh at me while I'm freaking out. Nina is our treasurer and has been putting in hours and hours on our behalf, taking care of the numbers. So I just want to thank you for that right now. There's a reason I did not become a numbers person. I can tell you how I feel about them. My degree is in psychology, the first one. What I can tell you is spiritual principle says God is fully present in this moment no matter how I feel about God right now. No matter how I feel about this moment right now. Another spiritual principle says love is the truth between all beings. And so it is love that picks up the phone and calls the help desk. It is love that says, you know, I keep thinking about this one person. I need to call them and make sure they're okay. And if they tell me they're okay, I need to call them and we just need to do coffee because it sounds like fun. Does that make sense? Does anyone else have that happen where they're just like, that person keeps popping up in my mind, what do I do with this? That is love poking on your shoulder saying, call them, or text them, or write them, or at least pray for them. I don't know why I say at least. That's the most powerful thing you could be doing. So we trust in principle. We remember what our values are. Does anyone know our stated values in this center? You can type them into the comments on Facebook if you'd like. But who in this room remembers what they are? You've all seen them today if you walked into this building. Just yell them out because I can't read your lips right now. Joy. Love. Inclusivity and spiritual growth. Those are our values. And so when we make decisions about masks and where chairs go and how open we are and who we're going to hire to work in the front office, we go back to our values. Is this person joy-filled? Are we acting out of love when we spend our money? When we do our budget and look at who do we take care of? Where do we place value? Inclusivity. Are we going to make it so that if you speak Spanish, you are comfortable in this room? ¿Hay alguien aquí quien habla español? Hay uno, una. Dos, y él me entiende. Now, for some of you, that might have been a little uncomfortable because you didn't know what I was saying. I might have been telling you to go milk your pencil. For all I know, that is what I said. Pero, we have the book in Spanish. I keep coming back to, I will find time to get fluent. We will have circles in Spanish. If you are online and you want a circle in Spanish, I will do everything I can to support you. Just email me. And if you can figure out how to get online, you can figure out how to email me. I have faith. These are things we do because we value inclusivity. We don't get uncomfortable and take classes that push our buttons just because it's fun and we're masochists. It's because we value spiritual growth, because we're willing to go through whatever it takes to heal those things in us that are holding us back. That belief in limitation, that we can only have so much good. It's a false belief. It's bad information. It's bad data that's crept into our basic programming. It's not true. And yet I found myself in my prayer chair this morning trying to get past a worthiness issue. Trying to say, even if I did win the lottery and could fund this place fully and do everything I want, what if nobody shows up? So I'm very grateful to all of you guys right now, because otherwise I'd be talking to myself. And I'm very, very grateful to anyone who's watching this right now, because even if I never know about you, my personal values require me to be of service. My personal values are abundance, service, oneness, and integrity. I almost said inclusivity, but that's the major one. I must be of service in my life, otherwise why bother? I will have abundance because I deserve it. And it's much easier to help people when you've got something you can offer. I believe in oneness. Every part of me is divine, and I am one with all of you, all of your divinity. And that is how I heal the feeling of being alone sometimes. Anyone else ever felt very alone or lonely? No, nobody in this room. And my integrity is sacred to me. I would rather lose my job. I would rather you guys decide I am not the minister for you than to go against what I know is my calling. And that is why I'm still here. Because if I didn't have any integrity, you guys had fired me ages ago, and you should have. So this is how we know how to make decisions, how to get the broad strokes in there. And then what do? We trust the process. We go to our prayer chair every day, even on the days it feels like, we can't actually get to our prayer chair, so the sofa's going to have to do. That's as far as we're going to get. Maybe the best you could do is roll over in bed and stare out the window or at the ceiling and think, God is all there is, and I hate that. Life is eternal, and that's bad news today. But I'm going to speak some affirmations, and I'm going to do my best to speak them as if I believe them, and I am going to stretch into a greater understanding of the magnificence of my own soul, because even if I can't feel it right here, I know it to be true. Even if I'm having trouble knowing it to be true about me, I can think of the grandchild. I can think of Seamus, who's one of our kids, and little Estelle. Are they anything less than beautiful? Okay, nobody in here said, well. We allow that divinity to show up for us, and we trust that it is always showing up for us. There is a song by Eddie Watkins Jr. that we sing here sometimes called All Is Well and Unfolding as It Should. Everybody knows that song? Okay. Jackson and I have a running joke, where on some Sundays it's all is well, and some Sundays it's all is well. Well, we know that we're probably dealing with stuff that's been dealt with in other centers, and therefore it can be dealt with. Maybe it doesn't look like God in this moment. Maybe it's that very disturbing energy of someone walking in who doesn't look like us, smell like us, act like us, speak like us, and yet we want to welcome them in because we know that this too is God. I can't tell you how many times when I was working for the public defender, I walked down the hallways of the courthouse going, okay, God, where is God in this? Where is God in this? Where is God in this? I just sat with somebody who kidnapped a child and did horrible, unspeakable things. Where is God in this? I just sat with somebody who was a stalker or stole or did some violent crime or is just a jerk. Rude. Believe me, when people are unhappy, they get rude. And people who have been accused of heinous things are generally not happy. Do you know that in San Diego there is a direct line from the phones in jail to what used to be my desk? Not only could was I the only person they could call for free from inside the jail, their mamas called me too. And somehow, do you know it was my fault that a 54-year-old male was in jail again rather than getting treatment for his drug addiction? And his mother wanted me to know about it? I will never forget that phone call. I thought she meant to call the juvenile department. But no, he's 54. Where was God in that? God was in that I picked up the phone and I had just heard her talk on compassion. God was in that space, in that time, in that as I said to the women I worked with, At the end of the day, we go home and they have to stay with themselves. You go home and be very nice to you so you can come back and have compassion for them tomorrow. Because one of my values was to see the oneness, the divinity of even our clients at the public defender's office, and I hadn't made the list of values yet. I was just living them. I hadn't actually written them down. So, we know our values, we know spiritual principle, we trust the process. As we speak things into being, as I will it, so mote it be, it is done unto me according to my belief. As I choose to remember that it's all God, it must show up in the world around me. And that is how we can have a holy, holy uprising, even on the days where it's a little scary, or it may not look like God, or things get messy. That is how we can say all is well and there's no question mark. Yes? Okay, so if you can say yes to that, we will say a bigger yes with prayer. And it is my joy to come back down here and pray. We're all on an even praying field when I'm here. Because although the words are coming through me, this is spirit coming through you as well. Yes? Okay. So go within in whatever way works for you. Maybe you just do a soft gaze at the floor. Or you close your eyes and open your inward eye. Hear with that inner ear for a moment and take these words for yourself, even when I speak in the first person. God is. God is all there is, every time, every place, for everyone. God is absolute, pure, and perfect love. God is the divine within every single being that is or has ever been on this planet or any other. No matter what they look like on the outside, God is showing up in every being. God is in every situation. God is the energy of life itself. So where there is life or light, where truth is spoken, that is God at work. And where truth is taught through its opposite, that too is the divine. And in this time and place, in this teaching, what I know is that we are divine beings in human form who have chosen to be born for such a time as this. And so I speak my word for all of us as we stand in our truth, as we find the courage, as we recognize spiritual principle and stand in the conviction of the pure and perfect truth that God is all there is, that love is the truth between all of us, and as we expand our horizons, there will be nothing to find beyond that old horizon except more God, except more good. That Spirit's will for us is always for more life. We are here that we may have life and have it even more abundantly. And so I call in abundance, abundant health, abundant financial well-being, abundant friends, abundant joy in the family, abundant sense of how loved we are. We are each the beloved of the beloved. And so standing in this truth, I know that all of the old bad data simply falls away like shadows in the face of the light. That which no longer serves us simply goes back into the nothingness from which it came. And we create anew life and love and joy and good that is even more abundant than we have ever imagined in the past. And sitting within this, resting within this with a grateful heart, I allow it all to be perfectly. And I allow Spirit to do the work. And so I release this word to the lawn, knowing it's already done, and so it is. So I'll ask you now to stand and sing with me if you're in the room. You can stand if you're at home, too. And we allow all of that good to just wash over us.
Let wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the grace wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the grace wash over us. We let it be.
Thank you. Please be seated. So this is where we allow all of that good to wash over us, and we send the energy of that good into those things which we are telling the universe we want more of this in our lives. So this is our tithes and offerings time. If you are online, you can certainly go to the website, or you can do the text to tithe. If you enjoy the text to tithe, there are instructions in front of the offering box out in the foyer here physically. You can also just set it up automatically so that it comes out of your account in a way that works for you. In the meantime, we take those gifts, we hold them over our hearts or our hand. If our hands are empty today, we allow the consciousness to be the gift. And we say the dedication of the offering. Divine love, in and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, life. And thank you, Tom, for helping us out today in your new solo act version.
In fact, on this song, you're going to all have to be Krista. You have to sing along. We've sung the song here before. In fact, I wrote this song for the first service, and the first time we played it here, a birth came that night through the song. So this song has a very special place for me and for CSL. And this is called Wash Over Me. Night in the desert, no comfort inside. I'm by myself, but I know I'm not alone. Reach through the darkness, and I pull on your light, and I let it wash right over me, right over me. It's pouring down, lifting my heart, turning me all around, right over me. Oh, hallelujah. Now let it wash right over me. I walk down this long road of family and friends. Come to a place that I've never been before. I think on the love of all that's brought me here, and I let it wash right over me, right over me. It's pouring down, it's lifting my heart, it's turning me all around, right over me. Oh, hallelujah. Now let it wash right over me. Now deep in the darkness, no light do I know. And I hear a small voice, it's starting to grow. And like a river reaching the sea, I let it wash right over me. Yes, I do. Right over me. It's pouring down, it's lifting my heart, turning me all around, right over me. Oh, hallelujah. Now let it wash right over me. Come on, sing with me. Right over me. It's pouring down, lifting my heart, turning me all around, right over me. Oh, hallelujah. I let it wash right over me. Yes, I do. I let it wash right over me, through and through. I let it wash right over me.
Thank you. So, I do not know whether the children are joining us today. Ah, yes, they will. So, while I have you here, my happy little captive audience, I will point out that we have wonderful tech people.
Yay!
I will point out there's only 2 of them that do the computer part. They're never, ever allowed to be gone at the same time, but apparently somebody didn't tell them that, because we got a date coming up where both of them will be unavailable at the same time. So if you are willing to learn how to push buttons, and I don't mean in the psychological sense, that's my job, we would love to have some more volunteers working with our techie crew. I'm getting a Clay and Jackson and Andy have been doing an amazing job of keeping this place going, and apparently I'm not allowed to manacle them to that little board over there. So we do need help. We do accept that this is not as tough as we think it is. We do actually train people before letting them just show up on a Sunday. I promise you we won't just say, hey, go. But please do consider serving in that way. And here we have our youth. Hi, guys. We don't have the big, the horns blowing and everything, but we have a little music for you to skip in on. Hi. Good morning. Yes, please. There you go.
So one of the today was that we took these beads in these 2 cups, and we took one bead and said, there is only one life. That is God's life. That life is perfect. That's the life I'm living now. And we did that 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Here you go. So, and you said that every single time you moved a bead? Very cool. Hey, Miss Estelle.
Today we drawed pictures like this one.
Well done.
We talked about how all is good, and so we looked for the good in ourselves and in the people around us, and sometimes the animals around us. That's it.
So what good did you find in yourselves? You want me to hold your beads for you? Promise I won't read your beads.
That were all types of things. All caterpillar who explained how music can affect our feelings.
Oh, cool. What did you figure out that was good about Miss Diane?
That she is super caring and super kind and one of the best teachers ever.
Cool. Estelle, what's super cool about Miss Erin?
That she loves us and she's a caring teacher.
Yes, she is. All right. Here, don't let me steal your beads from you. Surprise. We choose to see the God in everybody, right? All right, so now we're going to do our benediction and sing our way out. You guys can hold hands or not. If you're not going to hold hands, I suggest you go like this so that nobody is sitting there going like this. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It's happening through my mind, my bodies, and my affairs. I think it, I believe it, I feel it, I know it, I accept it. Thank you, life.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, we're a family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Thank you.